get some sort of resolution.
Yeah.
So, so the officers are really helpful because sometimes, in fact, usually when it's contentious, this is not contentious. It's just contentious when we should invite all sides at the same time, so that we can actually hear the debate. Because in council meetings, you really can't hear a debate because it's pretty much like you have your 1 or 2, maybe 3 minutes you can speak. People kind of like be talking like over each other, right? You know, and so there's no real dialogue. And so we have these to kind of encourage that dialogue. In your case, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I don't think there's been much opposition to this, right? So
there's not much opposition.
I haven't heard. If there was, they would have been invited to this meeting too. So I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think.
There's not much opposition to this.
How many letters have you gotten on this topic?
What is it?
How many letters have you gotten on this topic?
Passion needed, funding.
Yeah.
Most people, I don't see anyone who's against it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And okay, good. But I want to talk about that later on. Maybe I should introduce myself.
Sure, please. Yeah,
how I came to this point.
Sure.
So.
Well, someone said it was a waste of money.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, 2 people said that it was a waste of money.
Okay.
But neither of them. One of them was supposed to come last week, but she didn't want it. She didn't come.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah, but it's like, I think it's important to kind of hear those stories beforehand because, like I said, if you hear it during council, it's like almost too late.
Right.
It's just like, what do you do now, right?
Right,
So,
and I didn't realize or really know that this was an option that I could come in and talk to you about it. So I'm glad.
Well, I mean, most
most
other council people don't do this, but for me, I mean, so I do this because a lot of people can't, like a lot of people work, right? And so, and a lot of people have kids at home. So, like, it's hard for people to go on Monday evening to go to council and sit there for like 5 hours, right? To speak. And so one of the reasons why I do this is because, as my wife also all the time, we have kids at home, so it's busy, right? When she gets home, she wants to do homework with the kids, and she, it's not, she doesn't want to.
Right, doesn't want to go out again.
Yeah. So I do these office hours, kind of like during times that are hopefully convenient for families to come in, right, and to talk about things, because I know that without that, it's hard for people to engage. So that's why we do this.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to let you know a little bit about myself, so I grew up in Palo Alto.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
I've been here for decades.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
And since I was a child, I've been a long-time volunteer for animal welfare and rescue through wildlife rescue that was based here in Palo Alto until recently.
So were you born in Palo Alto too?
No, I moved here when I was 7 years old.
Oh wow. Okay.
Palo Alto Humane Society, Peninsula Cat Works, which is a cat rescue group, and then other local rescue groups as well. So through that all, Palo Alto Animal Services has been instrumental in supporting the efforts of rescue groups, because we rescuers rely on the services of animal services, such as spay neuter, vaccination, microchipping for identification, blood tests that are all mandatory before we put these animals up for adoption. Now, with animal services currently on hold, however, I heard that it's starting up a little bit again, but the main word is that it's on hold. Volunteers have had to travel up to Burlingame, to Peninsula Humane Society, to the East Bay, and down to Santa Clara to Humane Society of Silicon Valley.
Oh, you have to be really dedicated then.
Yes, to get those services. So instead of, and so these rescue groups, we're all local. We're in Palo Alto, Menlo Park, Mountain View. It's, a 10-minute drive to go do our volunteer work. Now it's an hour drive on the freeway. So so that's a real inconvenience, and can discourage some people from getting those services done. But so if animal services is such an integral part of our animal rescues community, I was asking myself, then why is it having so much trouble surviving? And that I thought maybe because much of the community doesn't even realize how important animal services is in relation to their adopting a pet or for animal rescue care around here, because the rescue groups, they take care of all the services done at animal services before the pet's adopted to the residents. So adopting families, they aren't even aware of who it is that's actually done all this for their pet. So, and why do I support phase 1 funding of $800,000 and phase 2 funding of $1.2 million? Well, phase 1, as I understand, would bring the animal shelter into the modern age, just like the surrounding organizations like Peninsula Humane Society and Humane Society of Silicon Valley. They've expanded, or the phase 1 will expand the medical facilities and the staff areas of animal services, and then phase 2 would increase the service capacity by doubling the number of kennels and modernizing the living spaces, because right now they're just in small cages, and everybody else around us has renovated their facilities so that it's much more suited to the animals.
Okay.
So that's why I'm here.
Okay, that's awesome. Actually, Matt, can I ask you something? You said there were, how many people had opposed this?
From what I'm looking right now, there's 2 people.
Okay. Can you just quickly summarize what were the arguments for those two people?
Sure. So I'm going to say without mentioning your names.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You'd look for it.
All those public records.
Someone said, "Don't waste the money," or don't. Yeah, don't
Pets
waste
in
the money.
need, right? Okay. Search. Is it not? Okay, let me search this person. So this person, there's one person who said it was a waste of money, and the question of the animal shelter has not been resolved. The animal shelter is still in limbo because the city manager is not willing to assign a dollar value to it. Oh, we need to have a shelter for animals. The city needs to decide whether to pay pets in need to upgrade the facility, or the city should take care of the shelter itself. Fixing it and hiring the needed employees. None of the employees who have left have been replaced. There are pros and cons for each choice. I don't want to debate it here, but something must be done. And yes, this will cost too much money no matter what. Save money on bridges and etc. to provide for our pets. That was one person.
That's someone in support of it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, right?
Yeah, kind of. And then this person said, wait, nothing to do with it. So it was that person. Continue talking. Let me look for someone else.
So, first of all, thank you for your service, right? I think a lot of people don't realize, like, what goes behind having pets, right? And yeah, I mean, people think it's not magic, right?
Right.
And I think very few people realize that's all like volunteer powered, right? And so that's actually really, really nice.
It's volunteer powered and a lot behind the scenes. So there's a lot of people I'm sure you don't know about that live in Palo Alto and nearby that are working all over the place and we get lots of calls for about animal, stray cat here and there, mother cat. What do I do with these kittens? And we take them all in and we raise funds to pay to get them spayed and neutered.
So, I guess, what have you heard in terms of why folks have been opposing this?
Yeah, so I don't know why the residents have been opposing it, but the rumors going around in the rescue community is that the city manager's intent is to close the shelter. And
do you know why?
Greg, I could not find anyone else opposed to it.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean,
these are all rumors that we hear. So I don't know if it's true and I don't have details, but that's what a lot of people have concluded, and that's why the project hasn't moved forward for so many years. I mean, like over 10 years ago, there was talk of, oh yeah, we have a space set, we're going to build a new shelter, and then a new city manager came in, and then things stopped.
Yeah, that is bizarre. So yeah, he has been for about 10 years, and yeah, interesting.
And then staff's not being replaced, and we hear so they're really just set to resign or retire, and so then the services are halted, and it looks like it's dying a slow but sure death.
So do you know why the city manager hasn't been supportive?
Just from reading from the news, it sounds like because Animal Services has lost so much money. We lost the partnership or the income from Mountain View, and so it's gone hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt each year. So I think that's probably part of it.
Okay. So what do you think we should do here?
I think because
so just to give you some background, so the city finances are a little bit, even though we're have a booming economy right now, the long range financial forecast shows that we are going to lose money, right?
I read that too in the recent weeks.
Yeah. So which is kind of unfortunate, and so I think the city manager is trying to prioritize projects to make sure that what's important gets done. So I'm not sure where this falls on the list, but I wasn't aware of what he's done historically, but I didn't realize this has been going for 10 years. So that's interesting.
I mean, there was a site set out, and then nothing happened about it, and I don't know the details behind that.
Yeah.
But it's losing money, yes, but also because money isn't being put into it. I mean, if you go look at our shelter, it's a shame when you then go to look at the other shelters around that have all been renovated and all have thriving programs related to it. There's along with that, so for Palo Alto Animal Services, there's a huge waiting list for people wanting to invest their time and effort
that's what I heard.
Into the shelter.
Yeah, I was really surprised to hear that. Yeah.
I've been on this waiting list for
shocking.
5 years with no, I'm an animal rescuer. I foster, I do all that, all without acknowledgement from the
or compensation.
Shelter.
Yeah.
Right. So, and they don't want me to volunteer there because I think, there's nothing. There's limits on who they can take because they don't have programs set up to utilize all this volunteer effort. So if investment was put into the shelter, I think you could get it back.
So how do other cities fund this, or how are the other cities, how are the other ones structured? Because I'm not as aware, the one in Burlingame and other cities. How are those funded?
That I don't know the details. Sorry.
Okay. I'd be really curious to know, because maybe it's funded through donations, maybe it's funded through the city. I don't know. I'm just curious to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we haven't seen a lot of opposition to this, right?
Okay.
The only real opposition is that I know from the infrastructure budget list, we're like $70 to $80 million in the hole, right? That I do know.
Okay.
And that's not including all the projects, right? There's a lot of, and so the question is how to fill the gap, right?
Right.
And is there a possibility for there to be some sort of matching, where some of it comes through donations as well, and the city matches? Is that a possibility?
You're asking me if that's a possibility?
Well, I know. I'm just asking from in a sense of the community, right?
Well, I was thinking about the libraries and now the junior museum.
Yeah,
so
and
I
that
guess foundations have been set up to fundraise for
Yeah.
that, and I don't know whether that's set up by the city or whether that was just a group of private individuals.
It's private individuals.
So if that something like that could be done, is that?
Yeah, that's what I was
something
curious.
that-
I'm just curious because it's like even like we're trying to do this bike bridge across 101, right? And it's been talked about for I don't know 10 years, or
Yes.
just forever.
Yeah, another long-term project that I'm
Yeah.
in support of.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because like, so in construction, there's soft costs and there's hard costs, right? Soft costs are like the entitlements, like having public meetings to talk about this and give people's feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is in Palo Alto, our soft cost is huge. I mean, we have, like we had a design contest for this bridge, and we've been talking about this thing forever, right?
Yeah.
And I forgot the last one I looked at, but it was like some major chunk of that $60 million
We do have our
cost.
next constituent
Okay,
ready,
okay.
so if you can wrap it up in 2 minutes.
A big chunk of that is actually soft costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, so what that means is to make decisions faster, there's less cost
Mm-hmm.
because you don't incur those soft costs. But yeah, I think because I'm also on the finance committee, and it's challenging. There's so many different projects competing. So I don't think anyone necessarily opposed to this.
Yeah.
I think probably what the biggest challenge is that like the money is short in cash. The city is short in cash. That's probably the biggest issue.
Okay.
And it's like, how do you make ends meet?
Okay.
Right.
So how would you propose that someone like me or the rest of the animal welfare supporters
matching, right? Because the nice thing about matching is that what happens is if there's a lot of people donating to that organization or cause, and the city just matches, it's like leverage, right? And also then we know for sure as a city, that the community actually wants this, right? If like there's not much community interest in it, then that also tells you something as well, right? So it's
right.
So I would encourage if the people, you and others that are interested in this, if there could be some sort of matching program going on, right? And that doesn't have to be dollar for dollar, but something which shows interest, right? It shows that the community actually wants this, and then it becomes very easy to fund it, right? Because versus you look at another project that like there's no donation program for this, nothing, there's no interest, then it kind of tells you like maybe the community's not that interested, right?
But so there is Friends of Palo Alto Animal Services that has been doing some fundraising, and there's Palo Alto Humane Society.
And so I would highlight that, right? So I would highlight like all the because what the Junior Museum did, right, which was actually really interesting, was they had like a pretty large matching grant. I forgot how much it was, but it was quite a bit of like it was 25 million or something large numbers, large dollars. And so it's like, wow, for every dollar that the city puts in, it gets like $2-3 invested into this project. And so I think, kind of putting that together, kind of talking about that, I think would help a lot, because if there's leverage, it's like, well, why would we not do this, right? So that's how I position it.
And how urgent is that to get something like that going? Like, is there going to be a vote soon where you just say, well, we don't have the money, and so we're killing this project?
Yeah.
So do we have time to even do something?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, and also, you're right. I mean, there's the Friends of and others, like time and donation and volunteer hours. That also matters too, right? But I think that's important because it lets the city know like how people are prioritizing things, right? So if a lot of people are donating time, money, etc., it means it speaks a lot, right? It means that this is a pretty important project for the city.
Okay, we need to.
Okay, but if there's nothing, then it's like who else cares about this, right?
Right.
So,
right.
And to be honest, there hasn't been a lot of letters pro on this. There's been more pro. I think we've only had pros.
Mainly pros.
Mainly pros. Yeah.
And and I think it's not easy for people to know about the progress of this. Because I'm going away right now.
Yeah.
Not even sure if my efforts can really do something at this point or not.
Well, it does. Well, I mean, first of all, like, so there's so many different things competing for our attention, And when people actually come to talk to us or write in, it's like amazing because most things that happen in the city, no one talks about, no one writes in. It's just like, so you think, do people even care about this, right?
Okay. So we need to voice our opinion more?
Well, certainly coming to talk to me like makes me think, wow, okay, people actually care about it. But I've yet to have anyone come and talk to me saying like, no, we shouldn't do this, right? I've not had that yet.
Okay.
And we've gotten letters for people to support this. So definitely it's like, and also like, now I don't have a pet myself, so I don't utilize the service, but I'm hearing from you and others that, wow, a lot of people volunteer for this. So it lets me know that this is actually kind of important to the community.
Right. It has been for many years.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say also is that there's like this endless list of projects that we're supposed to be funded.
Right.
And we're just like, we're so short on cash. And so really what I'm trying to say is to kind of elevate projects. Like certainly reaching out to council members like myself is a good thing. But if like some sort of matching program is also put in there, right? Or it could be just more around marketing about like being like, but this many volunteer hours and this much dollars has been invested by the private sector. All we need to see these invest this little portion, right? So that's what I'm saying, right? Because that's what I saw like the Junior Museum do, right? And then makes it very easy, like, well, why not, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to help you, right?
Yes,
in terms
thank
of
you.
How do you like, how do you get support on this? How do you get above the fray? Because there's so many different things going on. Okay, I know.
Okay. I'll go back and try to get to word out to my colleagues.
Yeah. If you want to meet us again,
was
it Lisa who contacted you?
Yes.
Yeah, feel free to email Lisa and she'll schedule a meeting with you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your work on
Thank you
this.
for meeting.
I appreciate it. Okay.
David. All right, come on in. Or do you want to broadcast this on Facebook Live?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, we'll just leave it on Facebook
I'm
Live
great.
on.
Hi, Greg. I've met you before.
Yeah. Do you need a card? Or do you have a card already?
Oh, it's fine. Great.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
great.
you.
So you're Sonia?
I'm Sonia
Okay,
Bradsky.
awesome.
Wait, I'm actually gonna end this one. I'll start another one because this one has the wrong title. And you're here to